This happens a lot, that you are invited into a battle, but the enemy just keeps running away and you can't find them. It's a bit of a waste of time. Eventually this button shows up so you can get out of the battle, and we will do that now. Just a bit of a waste of time. We are approaching a convoy unprotected, but there are some reinforcements coming, so maybe we can sink a few transports before the big guys show up. Lee Chowning. Okay. This campaign started in the 1890s. We already see convoy. I think I'm going to close in. So I have two separate divisions, one for each ship. Thanks for the follow. Lee Chowning. And again we have this AI problem. I told them both to correct their course, but the light cruiser just does whatever it wants to do. You can kind of oversteer that by using manual rudder, but I think it shouldn't do that. This auto collision avoidance system is not good at this point. Both of those ships are an older class. Well, not old, terribly old, but they're not the newest class of each ship type. Going to speed it up a little bit. Thank you on the design. Well, this is my third attempt at a campaign. And it's not that the other two attempts were complete failures. I just found out more about the game and the game mechanics, so I decided to restart the campaign to be able to take advantage of what I've learned. I could show you my designs if you like. So the heavy cruiser, this is the older model, 2x2 7-inch turrets, and then 4-inch casement guns for support, 4 in the back and 4 in the rear. I think I went for the best available towers, although there are not too many to select from. And the older design here has more torpedoes. I think in the newer design with the 2x2 8-inch turrets, I I had to sacrifice some additional torpedoes for more bulkheads and more armor and the heavier guns. All in all, I was just, and speed of course, having a powerful engine that can accelerate your ship to a high speed also costs a lot of weight. So I kind of saved a bit on the torpedoes. The idea being that I don't have to... Well, I don't plan to normally to go into close quarters combat with my ships, but kind of happens anyway because the gunnery is so poor in these early stages. You don't really get to hit much if you stay too far back. So that's the heavy cruiser, and the newer heavy cruiser just has bigger guns. I think it's slightly faster and slightly better armored. And this is the older light cruiser. First of all, you can tell by the caliber, it's the main armament is 6-inch guns. We're going to turn east a bit more as the transports are turning back as well. So, well, maybe I should have done this actually, because now I was actually just landing shells. So kind of got the range. But I hope that since I'm only doing small turns, that maybe I won't throw off the gunnery too much. I'm still hitting. The newest class of light cruisers has 7-inch guns, and it only has a turret in the front and a turret in the back. But I think it has some more secondaries in it. It's faster, better protected. So I actually like the new designs as well. These transports are armed, so they are firing back at me. Yeah, I'm only playing this game since Christmas, so I don't know what it was like before. But I did read that on Steam that there was a lot of ships ramming each other and friendly fire in terms of torpedoes. Yeah. But is the AI good at evading them, or is it that AI ships have an unrealistic turning rate even when their engines and rudders are damaged? So that's what I find a lot. I find maybe I get lucky and I damage a ship and it loses 2 out of 3 engines, or maybe all of them, and is stationary more or less. And then, but I can't really quite sink it. And then I approach it with torpedo boats, and somehow damaged ship can still kind of outmaneuver my torpedo boats, which I find slightly ridiculous, because there shouldn't be any ship that's more maneuverable than a torpedo boat. But the AI is, I mean, to be fair, the AI is good. It's not bad. I mean, it does have mistakes or problems, but I've seen games with much worse pathing AI, obviously. And torps in the early stage, I mean, you have a range of 900 meters. You have to get really close. And I mean, that's just a technical range. You are not going to hit anything at 900 meters. The ideal range to hit something is maybe 200 meters. I said it previously. Eventually, I hope that we are going to get transports appropriate to the period. This clearly is a 1930s or 1940s ship, not an 1890s ship. Okay. Friendly fire with 18-inch guns as well. That must have been pretty upsetting, I can imagine. Although I have to say, I'm a noob, so I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have made Admiral in reality. So what happens with me sometimes is that, say you have one fleet, the enemy approaching from here and I'm approaching from the other side. And then we get so close to each other that I actually have friendly ships behind targets. And then obviously, if I overshoot the target, I'm probably going to hit my own ships. And I'm not sure how they dealt with that in reality, how they prevented fleets from getting entangled so much that you would shoot at your friendly ships. I'm pretty sure controlling a fleet in reality was at least as difficult as controlling a fleet here. I mean, in the 1890s they didn't have radio. They might have had telegraphy, but I'm not sure. So the only way they could probably maintain some sort of order was by doctrine and training, and by communicating a plan before the battle. But I'm gonna switch fires. The AI doesn't really... AI never really changes target. They try to... Which means in this case they will be firing at this transport forever. Which in turn means I'm not going to be able to sink many targets. We're also getting in enemy fire from somewhere over here. I think I'm gonna turn around sharply like this. Don't really want to run into the enemy. I'm gonna turn around, maybe damage or sink another target, and at the same time I'm gonna be moving away at least from the approaching enemy. As long as they are far enough apart, the pincer not that big a risk. But it was ships in the same formation. Pre-radio it was flag signals, yes, exactly. Which, of course, was almost impossible to do if the conditions were bad, say with fog or rain, or at night or early in the morning. Okay, so let me ask you this. What I noticed a lot is when I start a battle, I have the AI generates formations for me. It arranges the ships that I'm in battle with in divisions and positions them relative to each other. I might have a battle line in the center with a few battleships, and then I might have light cruisers and heavy cruisers and a squadron of torpedo boats somewhere else. And then what I notice a lot at the start of the battle is that, for instance, the battle line, all of the ships start to weave in and out of formation. They turn sharply to the left and then sharply to starboard. And it slows them down. When I'm close to the enemy, it means I lose accuracy on the gunnery. When I'm far from the enemy, it means I'm slowing down, I'm becoming an easier target. And it's annoying. Would you say that is intended? And this is also something I don't like, the torpedo. Well, maybe it's okay. But maybe I should kind of switch torpedoes off unless I really want them to use torpedoes. I'm gonna smoke my light cruiser up. Torpedo did hit, so this one is probably going down. This one is heavily damaged. Going to switch fire. Okay, so they already switched the main battery over. Going to turn here. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should pass these behind. Yeah, so my question is, the chaos that breaks out fairly reliably when I start a battle without myself issuing any commands, is that intended, or is that the AI panicking over the local density of ships? I'm not sure what's going on. This one is going down very soon. I'm gonna switch fire. Yeah, so that I don't consider that very realistic here. First of all, the design of these transports obviously is not period accurate, and secondly, I don't think in the 1890s transports would be armed. At least not that this heavily. I think in the 1890s a lot of transports were actually sail or sail steam combined, and they probably wouldn't have any guns on them for the simple reason that This would significantly have slowed them down and taken up space on the ship. They probably would not have done that. I'm gonna turn the torpedoes on to save. Maybe it's going to drop torpedoes to port, to torpedo Nautilus. Try do that. And now again, there is a weird maneuver taking place. It could easily just sail straight, but instead Auden here starts to turn for no apparent reason. I can correct this by manually steering, but it's annoying. Very annoying. Honestly, the auto collision avoidance system, or whatever you want to call it, should be reworked. Medusa is taking a lot of damage as we're sailing right through the convoy. This torpedo might probably going to miss. Maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's going to miss. I did hit. Which way are we going now? I think we're going to... Let's turn. We're sailing north right now. Let's change course. That's good. Another torpedo probably should sink that one. So 2 of them are sinking. 3 more are heavily damaged. This one is probably going to sink. Of course, Medusa is taking a beating. Would be a shame if at least this one got away with it. Okay, Nautilus sinks. I'm going to have Baden focus Neride as well. So you're saying it's a conflict between ship formation generation and fleet formation keeping. Yeah, but piracy wasn't a big deal anymore in the 1890s. I doubt that a lot of the sailing, the large, what are they called, the clippers and the steamships of the era, I don't think most of them would have been armed. Maybe in a conflict that lasted, you know, after a very long time. But even in World War I, I don't think a lot of the merchants were armed. And if they were, they would have probably only had, yeah, 2-inch, 1-inch guns. I think Nerida is going down as well. Which one is sinking now? Oh, this one is already sinking. Even though it's still structurally intact to 78% and it doesn't have any flooding going on, but the fire is just too much. It's spread throughout the entire ship. That's good. That's a pretty good result. Of course, we do take some damage. Itchin sinks as well due to fire. Which one was that? That was this one over here. Yeah. Okay, so fire is pretty powerful at taking out transports. I've never had... I did see ships sink from fires before, but I saw it as much as I'm seeing it here in this particular engagement. What's happening over here? The heavy cruiser is turning away. Yeah. I don't know what the reason is for that. Because it's undamaged. So are the two light cruisers. The British fleet is larger than the German ones. They have more shipbuilding capacity. I think the AI in this case should be pursuing and not turning around. And if I were to exploit this AI weakness, of course I would come back, have a higher chance at sinking an additional transport without risking as much as if they would continue pursuing me. And it's weird also because supposedly this convoy battle is taking place off the coast of northern England or southern Scotland. When I'm sailing west, which I am right now, I should actually be running into more British forces. And they came to try and help their transports, but now they're turning back to the south east, which is actually the direction I should be going if these two ships were going back to their bases. So I don't know, I think that close to the enemy coast with the naval superiority and so on, they should actually be pursuing it rather than turning around, especially if they have more firepower combined, which they should. But overall, I would say that's quite a big success. We sank 6 transports out of 8. At least in this screen. I don't know if you have noticed this, Lee. There is a difference between this screen, first one, and then when you come back to the strategic interface, you get a second battle results screen. And in naval battles, sometimes the results differ. Then you would have ships that survived according to the first screen, and then in this message here, you would see that they were actually sunk or damaged. But anyway, this is a few more victory points for us. I already dealt with shipbuilding and so on, and we're just going to take a look. The finances, my deficit did come back slightly from minus 3.9 million to minus 3.8 million. My unrest is rising to 60. I think this is, but I don't think I can do anything about it. I think this is something political going on in the background. My naval prestige hovers around 0. Sometimes it's -2, sometimes it's -1. Not too much I can do. Still repairing a few ships. Two battleships need repairs. Then quite a few more modern heavy cruisers. A few light cruisers as well. And a few torpedo boats. Overall, I'm happy. I just want to make sure I have my modern ships in the west. Not too many ships actually in the Baltic, where I don't really need them. So apparently I cannot move ships from Kiel to Danzig when I'm moving ships from Danzig to Wilhelmshaven. I think this should be the case either. Oh yeah, now I can. It should be easier to instruct this way. I'm going to send a few more torpedo boats to Danzig. Of the older model. Gneisenau I think is an older cruiser. There is a battleship available in Kiel. And 2 of the more modern torpedo boats. Can I move to different ports from the same? Like I can. Wonderful. Okay, we're just gonna move on to the next turn. Not too much happening. We see in the log that the British are repairing a lot of ships and finishing construction here. We have 4 torpedo boats under construction and nothing else. No, not true. I think we have 2 light cruisers under construction. 1 torpedo boat is still repairing. It's fine. 1 light cruiser is still repairing. The older Lübeck class. I like that when I sort by type, it also sorts them by class. Smart. All my modern cruisers, the Empress Augusta class is they are all paired. Oh no, it doesn't actually. Well, I guess this one is up here because it also sorts them by status. I guess it sorts them by class, then by status, then by sorry, by I guess by type, then by status, and then by class. Okay, and all my battleships, except for the ones that are mothballed and suspended construction or construction, they are all ready, which means I have 6 operational battleships. Take a look at the finances, how they develop. Oh, that's good. My deficit is coming down significantly. I would like to flip that into positive numbers. So I'm gonna go and shave off a bit more here. And a bit more here. Because my naval funds are down to 18 million. In terms of ships, I'm still pretty far behind the British. We are catching up in torpedo boats. Everything else, they are ahead. I think the power projection, not quite sure, but I think we're getting closer to each other, but they're still more powerful. And here we can see that the British are moving ships between their ports. Let's take a brief look at research as well. Not too much has changed. Okay, so we can go to the next turn. We lose 6 transports in the North Sea and the British lose 1. Then we have a battle. A heavy, a light cruiser and 4 torpedo boats against a heavy and a light cruiser and 3 torpedo boats. And we have an ambush where we can ambush a British task force of 1 battleship and a heavy cruiser with 6 torpedo boats. Finances aren't really getting better. It's still at minus 1.2 million. Probably due to the lost trade, the transport losses. We're now down to 76%, even though we're investing everything we can into transports. Okay, so let's go for the ambush first. This is the first salvo that hits But maybe... Why can't I control this ship? Oh, because it's so heavily damaged, it's now going to auto steer back to the back of the column. Now I could control it. Maybe I can use it to attack this guy over here. And this one now... that's what I mean. He's foiled the entire attack. Now this guy is turning away. Probably not going to be able to catch up. Maybe I can do this. I can detach from this way. I'm gonna go after the battleship. Don't care about the light cruiser. And here again, this torpedo boat could easily turn to the right behind this one, but for somehow it's kind of sticking to the... For some reason it's kind of sticking to the other one in front. Super annoying. Almost impossible. And the AI is making the same mistake. They are shooting at this already damaged and immobilized torpedo boat instead of focusing on the real threat, which is the ones, of course, that are approaching. Fine with me. I'm just going to take advantage of this. Where I only see one torpedo. Okay, dropping off the second torpedo. It's also a hit, but not too much damage. This one has dropped its load, so I can turn it away. What's the light cruiser doing? mean, this battleship is now running on maybe one engine out of 3, but it's still kind of going fast, and it's still able to maneuver. I don't really agree with that. How to drop your torpedoes. Probably the end of Revenge. What happened here? We were passing each other without torpedoing. What's the deal? No, George did take a torpedo, I'm pretty sure. Considering damage. So, rudder is damaged, so maybe they are not going to be able to evade torpedoes as much. This is usually a bad. I'm gonna have to switch it off, otherwise they're going to miss. So we're looking at a halfway flooded heavy cruiser with his rudder out on fire, and it outmaneuvers my torpedo boats. That's questionable. Probably going to be able to evade the torpedoes. Well, there's another torpedo coming from this angle. I didn't think to forbid torpedoes. Yeah, it's going to evade. Well, not all of them at least. And another one gun hits, so this one should go down as well. A battleship and a heavy cruiser for one torpedo boat. This one now tries to ram the other one instead of just simply trying to pass at the stern. It was completely unnecessary and it happens a lot. But a win is a win. Victory, 3,000 victory points. That's great. And two battleship and a heavy cruiser gone. Good workout for me. And then we have this engagement here. Which might result in a victory for us as well. So let's fight it. Game tip. Casement guns are mounted in protected placements of the ship and require less tons of mounting equipment compared to turreted guns. Their main advantage is that in those positions they do not obstruct bigger guns. Their disadvantage is that their firing arc is more limited from turreted guns, and if placed in lower sections they may become wet and ineffectual during bad weather. Enemy smoke in the northwest. We have to adjust our course. Yeah. More chaos by the AI for no reason at all. Torpedo boats turn to port at the beginning, even though I told the main battle line to turn right. And S-38, instead of turning right, it keeps going straight. For no reason at all, it would have a lot of space on the right side. Somehow it wants to run into S-30. No idea what the problem is. S-30 as well refuses to turn to port. Told it to turn to port about a minute ago. It kept sailing straight towards the battle line instead of trying to intercept the heavy cruiser, which seems to have thought better of it when it saw friendly torpedo boats sink. The other two getting isolated. Might get lucky and hit another one, maybe. The nuclear strategist, thank you for the follow. Turn, the heavy cruiser is coming towards us. Getting into torp range as well. One is probably not going to be avoided. But have to get lucky. They're pretty careless about their torpedoes. Switch this to safe. Maybe the maneuvering. Yeah, I think it's going to avoid the torpedo. Yep. Manages to dodge. Maybe this will allow S-30 to catch up. Bit of some torps. I do think the AI is cheating. I don't think a ship should be able to keep that much speed. While maneuvering this way, these torpedo boats are still pretty far away. And I guess what Lee Chowning was saying just earlier, It's true, the AI is pretty good at avoiding torpedoes. Somebody hit the enemy heavy cruiser. Main batteries of my own heavy cruiser keep missing. That was actually the light cruiser. Meanwhile, the enemy heavy cruiser doing a lot of good hits in. That's the end of T-38. What the hell is going on? That kind of a new class or something? They're super fast, but here it only says 20.7 knots. Should be faster than my own heavy cruisers. Yeah, I'm just throwing away torpedo boats at this point. On the other hand, I think it's worth it. The bigger problem is I'm not hitting the enemy with my main guns ever. Like at 900 meters I should be hitting 3 out of 4 guns, but not going to happen. We will shortly see. The enemy heavy cruisers do not have torpedoes. See, less than 900 meters and all 4 shots miss, go into the water. But at least the secondaries are getting hits in. slow down. Another torpedo is going off. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to avoid this one. It's a nice center hit. Engine room flooding and on fire. Finally, my main guns get some hits in. I think it was only one hit though, but still. He's on fire, mainly astern. Still getting good hits in with its main battery into my torpedo boat. I can try to turn away. Maybe the torpedo boat is not necessary at this point. Secondary should also be ranged in and get some damage in. Quite sporadic. All 4 guns miss again. Insane. They come to stop almost. I have 2 fairly healthy torpedo boats left in the back. An older light cruiser is approaching. I'm going to detach it. Maybe I can get close enough for another torpedo attack. They did control the flooding. The main guns aren't aimed at my light cruiser, that's good. I receive a flash fire. Torpedo goes off. Flash fire. My light cruiser. That's not good. And this actually happened from 2-inch guns. And the flash fire turret flies off. It's probably a complete loss. I lose all my 5-inch ammo. Because the main guns of the heavy cruiser were not aimed. The rear ones were actually out of service anyway, and the front ones were turning. They weren't aimed at the light cruiser. For some reason, my own heavy cruiser is trying to hit the far away torpedo boat instead of the light cruiser. Bigger threat to any of my ships. But the Bussard's crew, they are containing the fire. Not sure they're going to manage to pump out the water. Maybe I can get torpedoes off on this light cruiser. Hopefully without getting myself. That's one torpedo. I think there should be a second one going. Oh yeah, there is on the way. Probably aimed at this torpedo boat. The hit as well. The light cruiser should go down. It's heavily damaged. Probably up to the heavy cruiser now. Bussard's crew are able to control the flooding. The engine is out, of course. The ship is heavily damaged due to the flash fire. It consumed most of the middle deck and the upper deck of the engines. So far we've taken out heavy cruiser, 2 torpedo boats. This torpedo boat for some reason decided to send both torpedoes off to an almost sank torpedo boat that they might even miss actually. One of them is at the but there's an additional torpedo boat down. I still have 3. See if my main battery is able to hit. Yeah, they are able to hit, but for not that much damage. S-56 is out of torpedoes. Going to keep it at a safe distance. S-42 is out of torpedoes as well. And S-30 actually does still have torpedoes, but it's heavily damaged. Might have it approach from the rear. Main guns miss again. Buzzard managed to repair 1 engine. You have to keep it at a safe distance. Hopefully Hansa can take out Caledon. Tirpitz 007. Hallo, ich komme aus Deutschland. Ich bin aus der Schweiz. Okay, good hits on the light cruiser. For the first time in a long time. Hansa is out of torps, so going and torpedoing Caledon with the heavy cruisers not an option, but I think we can take her out from far. She's out of propulsion now. Flooding again. They did control the fire. Now Caledon is smoking up, but it's probably not going to save her. As you can see, she's flooding in the bow compartment as well and now sinking. And that's going to be the end. I'm not going to hunt down this torpedo boat. Buzzard heavily damaged. We can look at the ship stats. We can see that Buzzard received 3.8k in damage. Received a lot of fires. SMS Seydlitz represented the third battlecruiser design of the Imperial German Navy and was built between 1911 and 1913 in Hamburg. He had a maximum displacement of 28,550 tons, mounted 5 twin 11-inch guns, and was very fast as she reached a speed of 26.5 knots. At the Battle of Jutland, she was hit 21 times by heavy caliber shells and a torpedo, but she survived the battle. It sounds like she was a lucky ship. This is a victory for 903 points. The British do get some victory points as well for sinking some of our torpedo boats and damaging Bussard. And here it says Bussard only received medium damage. Must have been on the heavy side. So we have a lot more victory points than the British, but in terms of power projection, we're still being blockaded. We're still losing a lot of money. Going to have the research budget. See if that helps. My naval prestige came up slightly. We are building ships. Mainly light cruisers, torpedo boats, and one battleship. I think I'm going to leave it at this for the moment. Considering the finances. Let's just go to the next turn. Border patrol. As we enter hostile waters, enemy ships block our path. 2 torpedo boats. 2 torpedo boats. We don't really want to fight, I guess, other torpedo boats. If there was a convoy nearby, I would fight it. Sinking transports would be worth it. But I don't want to risk my torpedo boats that close to the enemy coast. I'm going to try to withdraw. And this round is good for us. It's only the British that lose 1 transport. And not the Germans. Then we have a convoy to defend with 1 battleship and 2 torpedo boats against 2 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser. Those are not great odds. And I cannot delay and wait for reinforcements. But going to fight it. Maybe we can take out some British heavy cruisers. Enemy smoke. Where are our transports? Transports are back here in the southeast. So this time we're lucky, we're positioned already between our transports and the enemy. And the enemy is here in the northwest. Going to... I guess we're just going to keep sailing towards the enemy. And again, we have this problem where the AI for some reason needs to do pretty stupid things. I don't know why. It could have just kept sailing straight, no problem. Hopagok, hello. And thank you for the follow. Okay, so the enemy does eventually show up. Going to detach one torpedo boat here. We see a smoke screen in the back. Gonna try to run S-11 closer. I'm going to turn around the battleship. I think, yeah, this is also the older class battleships that I have. I think, yeah. I think this is the Deutschland class with two 11-inch turrets. Our goal here is not necessarily to sink a lot of enemies, I have to say. We just want to protect the convoy. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm not going to move any closer. I am already taking damage on one of the torpedo boats. So we're looking at a heavy cruiser here. And then this back here must be light cruisers, as they're able to put up a smoke screen. Transports are pretty far away, so I guess they are safe. So far the torpedo boat is on fire, but I might actually be able to get torpedoes off. I'm gonna move closer. The heavy cruiser is going to turn to starboard. To preempt that by turning port. Now my engine got damaged, but I think it should be enough to turn around and get torpedoes off. Put those on safe. Okay, now they're in the water. I'm not sure if it's both of them or just one. No, it's both of them. Okay, now I can turn this S-11 around. Oh, it's just one. I think. No, it's two. They're very close to each other. Almost no spread. Both of them hit, rudder and engines damaged. Of course, my torpedo boat takes quite a beating. There is a heavy cruiser going the other way. Of splitting off. Going to, if it ever considers Lancaster's taking on a lot of water, it might sink. I'm going to switch battleship main battery fire. Come on. Come on! Onto Lancaster. Make sure that it actually sinks. And for Blake, I'm going to turn this torpedo boat around. I'm not going to approach Blake, only if he considers moving towards the convoy. Okay, the heavy cruiser goes down. I will have Hildebrand focus on Latona. I'm going to keep Blake away from the convoy with the help of S-44. Hello, Papagok. I'm from Switzerland. S11 is sitting still because its engine is out of service. It's kind of an easy target. This light cruiser here is sitting next to the sinking heavy cruiser. And Hildebrand keeps missing. Okay, so Blake switches fire to the torpedo boat. I'm gonna turn away, see what he does. Okay, the light cruiser gets moving. Okay, good hits by Hildebrand. Latona. Center hits into the engine room. There is fire and flooding. Somehow main battery fire has switched from the light cruiser to the heavy cruiser, which I don't agree with actually. I think they should focus on sinking light cruiser instead of trying to hit the far away heavy cruiser, so I'm gonna reorient the main battery as well. Blake is still sailing away from the action and the convoy. Oh, it's actually turning now. Okay, so I'm gonna turn S-44 around and intercept the heavy cruiser. Okay, I'm gonna pursue light cruiser with the battleship. Okay, another... Ooh, very good hits. Very good hits from the other side. This should do some good damage to the engines. Of course, S11 is still immobilized. At least it's not on fire and not flooding right now. Sitting stern on at a distance of 2.5 kilometers. This heavy cruiser is still turning. I think it's trying to turn around. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it stopped turning. Hildebrand is firing again. Missing this time. Heavy cruiser is switching its main battery fire to the torpedo boat. Not going to chase the heavy cruiser, I'm going to turn around sharply. Which will make it hard for them actually to hit me. Now they're turning this way. I'm turning this way, so they'll have to turn their guns very fast. And I'm actually separating the two cruisers. They cannot support each other. Just have to make sure that the heavy cruiser doesn't turn around this way. Go after the transports. I kind of stopped its turn. I'm gonna run EB S-44 south. Kind of keeping an eye on Blake. Hildebrand is approaching the smoke screen. And Latona is trying to present a small silhouette. The smoke screen dissipates, and S11 was able to repair its engine partially, so it does make actually some speed. Okay, another hit for a flooding in the rear. This was a long distance hit from the fired from Blake. I think it damaged the casement gun on the port side aft section, so probably this one over here. Seemed to have struck here around the gun. Main battery is about to fire again. No hits though. But Latona is still on fire and flooding. And immobilized. I'm going to threaten another torpedo run at Blake. Keeping them honest. And it looks like I hit the light cruiser once more. think this is a perfect approach. You're not going to be able to evade the torpedoes at this range. So I think this is only one torpedo though. We're gonna drop a second one. I only saw one torpedo, but I'm gonna turn away for the time being. Oh! You sink immediately. Must have hit... What happened? Did a lot of damage. Very good. Wonderful. It's 44 doing a great job. The threat of Blake running off after the convoy is mitigated. I'm gonna send S-44 back to its friend. Latona is still up. But on fire. And with water in the engine compartment. Trying to hide in the smoke screen, but can't hide forever. So having the range found is offset almost completely, being inside the smoke screen. Yeah, not too much happening in terms of damage, but eventually the smoke screen will fade. And it's going to pay off the have our range found by then. Cruiser is sinking. While the underwater environment will be made better. And coal-fired ships running on coal-fired steam engines probably wouldn't leave as much an oil slick. This isn't not a big problem. Hildebrand just fired its... no, it didn't actually. It's about to fire its main gun. Yeah, so I don't like this. The almost completely damaged light cruiser is able to outturn my battleship running at full speed. And always present smallest silhouette. I think when you're as much damaged as the light cruiser is, half the ship filled with water, you should not be able to outturn as much as they are. Braden Bunting, hello. Heat it up. Okay, another hit, and finally the light cruiser sinks. We're going to end the battle. You are from New Zealand and you say this in perfect German. Nice, welcome. Yes, Neuseeland in German or New Zealand in English. Which island? The South Island or the North Island? So we save all 4 of our transports. One of our speedboats gets heavily damaged. And in turn we sink all the attacking convoy raiders, 2 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser. I would call that a good result. And I was wondering, is one of them... It doesn't tell me... Oh yeah, here it tells me the Orlando class heavy cruiser. And interesting to compare. So they pay 1.3 million for their heavy cruisers. They have a build time of 10 months. Maintenance of 60,000 per month. Top speed is only slightly less than mine. I think they're better armored. Slightly. They also use many bulkheads like I do. Fairly similar construction to mine. What about the light cruiser? I think those are slower than my light cruisers. And they use fewer bulkheads. I think I use more bulkheads on my... And it's weaker armored armed as well. They only have 4-inch guns. I have 6-inch or 7-inch guns maybe on my light cruiser. Going to have... No, actually that's not true. The newer class of light cruiser I have 5-inch guns. And on the older class I have 6-inch guns. You are from the South Island, the city of Dunedin. Maybe? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Okay, cool. I have never been to New Zealand. But from what I've heard and seen, it's beautiful. Okay. 1100 more victory points. I think we are slowly... I don't know. I don't think that... I think they're outproducing us. Even though we win most of the battles, I think they're still... maybe, I don't know. Kind of outproducing us, I think. Problem is the German finances. Yeah, we're still losing 1 million units of money per turn. Our naval budget is now well below 20 million for the naval funds, I should say, even though I have heavily reduced the expenses for crew training and research. We did make up 2% of transports. Okay, Hildebrand only took light damage. It's fine. And in terms of research, I don't think we can expect any results anytime soon. Not really, as we are cutting the research expenses. We are building some light cruisers, but we have about half as many light cruisers as the British have. In terms of torpedo boats, we're slowly catching up, but we might not fully catch them. In terms of heavy cruisers, I don't lose many heavy cruisers, and I sink one or two every so often from the British, but they keep building more. We sink a battleship here and there. The British are building more. So I'm not quite sure where it's going. Let's just head into the next turn. No battles, no convoy raids. And the British launch another battleship. Here it says, I guess March is up here, and that's down here, that's February. Let's check in on our fleet. As I said, I'm trying to have the more modern ships in the west, in the North Sea, and less capable ships in the Baltic Sea. In Bremen, that's a more central port, we have an older heavy cruiser, 3 modern light cruisers. No, Emden, yeah, I guess, yeah, Emden is the modern. Right, Buzzard was the one that got heavily damaged in the action of the northern English coast. It had 2 flash fires actually during its last battle. This cruiser Niobe only has reduced crew. It has a high maintenance. I don't know why I guess sea control. Right, okay. Alright, moving on. Danzig. What do we have in Danzig? In Danzig we have a heavy cruiser that doesn't belong there. And a torpedo boat. So we're going to move Princess Wilhelm and S-50. Then in Emden we have 2 Deutschland class battleships and a very old torpedo boat. We have a few older torpedo boats in Hamburg as well. One newer one. And we should move some more ships to Helgoland for some reason. That fleet is reduced to 2 torpedo boats. Normally I keep 4 torpedo boats there. Then we have a few modern heavy cruisers and a battleship in Kiel, which isn't ideal either. Modern heavy cruiser in Pillau. Okay. Start here. Wilhelmshaven is almost at capacity. There's still a lot of space in Emden. And maybe we can move some additional torpedo boats to Helgoland. Let's go to the next turn. British Empire develops 13-inch guns. And we commission a few torpedo boats, putting us up to 48 now, almost. Or no, I guess they're not included yet in this number because it was 48 in the last round. British now have 12 battleships in service. Guess they got 2 more light cruisers. Our finances are slightly recovering, it looks like, and the transports are back up to 83%. I'm not going to order new ships, but I would love to, in order to kind of get, maybe, you know what, I'm gonna add some torpedo boats. That's not too expensive. 200,000 units of money per month. Maybe we can sustain it, although the funds are down to 14.4 million now, although no clashes so far. Oh, we're exceeding the port capacity here. I'm gonna have to pull the light cruiser. Going to move the light cruiser to Emden. Maybe some heavy cruisers to Emden as well, kind of even things out a little bit. I can live with that. Okay. Anything else? We're gonna have to readjust who's in sea control and so on, I think. Okay, so in Wilhelmshaven we have enough ships sea control. I guess this saves money as well if I take ships off of sea control. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I mean, yeah, that's a 50% higher costs for torpedo boats. What's the comparison between a battleship, Deutschland class in sea control? That's 60,000. Okay, so I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna switch everybody to in being as their role. Going to save a lot of money. The downside is, of course, they're not going to be moving as far, so it might not be. Well, let's switch the expensive ships off of sea control. I'm going to mothball another battleship. Going to keep some cruisers in sea control, so maybe I can use them to raid convoys. That'll damage the enemy economy. I'm going to take off some. Let's take off. Let's take off the ones from Hamburg. That saves 20,000 piece as well. I'm going to be a bit more conservative with this. I'm gonna keep the torpedo boats at Helgoland in sea control. Maybe, I don't know. Is this smart? I don't know. No, I'm gonna take them off sea control. Just gonna do convoy raiding with some of my cruisers. Maybe this is the solution to fixing my budget. Okay, let's see who's in. How many ships do I have in sea control? I have. I don't need anything in sea control in the Baltic Sea, so that's going out. And then from Hamburg I have price difference here. That's still 20,000 per month. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it like this for the time being. Maybe this is going to fix my finances. Ooh, convoy. We're attacking very close to the shore. Curious. Yep, only 100,000 in the negative. Maybe I can fully turn this around next turn. And we have a battle as well. Actually quite far out for light cruisers. Let's first do the convoy close to our shoreline. Okay, so we have 2 heavy cruisers against 1, and then 3 torpedo boats against the light cruiser and 2 torpedo boats. I think I would like to focus on the light cruiser first. This will protect my torpedo boats, and then I'm gonna go after the heavy cruiser, depending on the situation, but I think that would be ideal. Enemy smoke is spotted to the west, which is this direction. Transports are turning away to the east. I'm gonna keep sailing in a straight line. This is what I don't like for some reason. This cruiser feels the need, or the cruiser's captain feels the need to go to starboard. It could just be following Hansa. No need to panic, just keep sailing in a straight line. I'm gonna go to speed 10 to see if they kind of even out, or if the cruiser keeps going back and forth. Still doing this a little bit. For some reason that's not entirely clear to me. Which one is the heavy cruiser? Going to have to wait. I guess this could be the heavy cruiser, the light cruiser, considering it's coming in a smoke screen. It's still pretty far away. They are focusing on the transports. Right now my battle line is focused. I think this is the heavy. This is like, yeah, because smoke screen. I'm gonna switch fire to. Well, no, I'm gonna keep it on the heavy cruiser. I don't know. No, I'm gonna switch it to light cruiser, and I'm gonna try to maneuver my torpedo boats. I can intercept heavy cruiser. But I'm not sure. Maybe I should actually... Maybe this is not the right thing. Maybe I should attack the enemy in the smoke screen with the torpedo boats. This means that there is no one stopping whatever is happening on the other side here. I can't focus on the light cruiser. I'm gonna have to deal with direct attack first. I'm gonna focus the fire of the heavy cruisers on the enemy heavy cruiser, and I'm gonna have to make sure I keep this torpedo boat. It already dropped 2 torpedoes on torpedo boat. We're gonna kill this probably. Both hits. Not terrible. Yeah, this group here needs to go and attack the heavy cruiser. Ah! Torpedoing the already damaged torpedo boat with both torpedoes. You're so useless. I'm gonna have to stop this one from dropping any torpedoes. I have to bring the heavy cruisers around. This one needs a torpedo. Already. I don't know if the torpedo, they need a minimum distance to arm. It's not dropping any torpedoes anyway. Great, great, wonderful. This one is flooding and it's gonna eat another torpedo. You know it. Not dropping torpedoes for some reason. Probably gonna drop once it's in front, once it's very easy for a spar shape to evade the torpedo. At least those are going to hit good. That's gonna cost me a few torpedo boats, but honestly, better than getting more transports sunk. I guess one of them is damaged. I don't think I lost. Didn't lose it, it's still moving. Appreciate sink. Turn this around. I'm surprised that this torpedo boat is still up. It took two German torpedoes. Wish I had another torpedo. I don't. Maybe this one has a torpedo. Torpedo Calypso. Do it. Come on, launch it. You have a torpedo. I don't know. Sometimes they refuse to torpedo. Pretty much guaranteed hit. But this S-50 doesn't have any torpedoes left. There are 2 torpedoes. Okay, it did launch 2 torpedoes, but much too late. Have to avoid these torpedoes. Have to turn right. Another torpedo boat goes down. Yep, no more torpedo boats left with my heavy cruiser. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the rear turret, I'm not sure if it's still firing. Yep, still firing, but missing. Yeah, no hits on the light crew. Or the light crew. The one. Keep moving the way I tell you to. For some reason Wilhelm stops. Doesn't obviously tell you stopping, it just does. Makes it a super easy target. No idea why, just move. I mean, stopping you, just move. Final Eclipse is taking damage. Wilhelm still refusing to do whatever I order it. Him turn. Why is Hansa running so close to the torpedo boat? Why isn't it just following Wilhelm? I will never understand. At least we're getting hits in on Eclipse. For some reason I get a flash fire here. idea what happened. I don't think it was a torpedo. It was an unlucky hit. Our Hansa is still up. Yeah, British torpedo boat heavily damaged. Immobilized. Don't think we can save this transport. Finally, this torpedo boat goes down. I don't know why I can't get floodings. The enemy always gets things. Okay, Hansa is controlling the flooding, that's good. I have to keep moving. Still on fire. Finally. Okay, one transport and 3 torpedo boats. Or 2 torpedo boats, a heavy cruiser and a light cruiser. A pretty hard-earned victory, I would say. We're back at 360,000 as a deficit. And the Brits keep building ships, expensive ones as well. So whatever we're losing is hurting us more than it's hurting them. How are we never hitting Juno? Get a flash fire. No luck today. But Juno takes almost no damage whatsoever. Let's see if we can sink an enemy. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason this one's not moving. With flash fire. Or mayhem. Or flash fires. I haven't sunk a single enemy cruiser, so finally. The AI is so bad at torpedoing. Horrible. And we can't hit them for shit. They can hit us all the time. There's almost no damage on the Galatea. Okay. 2 light cruisers for 3 light cruisers. Not a good trade in our position. Yeah, we lose more transports. And there is a battle. Yeah, that's going to be boring. One light cruiser against the other. Yeah, I'm going to take a break here. I'm probably going to be streaming Hearts of Iron 3 tomorrow rather than this. But we'll see. Alright, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Be safe. Take care.